Hello and welcome to my another commentary video. Currently, we're in the gaming house. Yeah. Currently, we're trying to work on a mega project. So today, I get to sit and collect dirt while I get ready to build this massive project. While we're doing that, this monotonous task, I decided to record and, share my thoughts on what's going on. And yeah. So today's topic is I want to talk about feeling like you're stuck. And what I mean by that is feeling like you're kind of just stuck in life. Like nothing's going forward, nothing's necessarily going back. It just kind of feels like it's just kind of stagnant. And this can apply at any point in your life, from as early as I remember for me personally, as like being in like high school. And, you could be dealing with this feeling in college. And then as well as just, feeling like at any point, maybe your job, stuff like that. And to be honest with you, there's nothing really much I can tell you outside of it's going to be a perspective change and, making sure that you have other options to kind of push forward. Or sometimes it truly is just a situation of, hurry up and wait. So we're going to tackle these ideas, hurry up and wait, and the alternative, what can you make out of your situation? So let's get to it. So tackling the concept of hurrying up and wait, we're going to talk about what I mean by that. I feel like everyone's kind of experienced this kind of situation before, but to kind of understand what I'm talking about, I'm going to just kind of bring up an idea here, and or at least something that I've felt personally. And, if you can kind of relate to this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, bear in mind here, and, So, what I mean by hurrying up and wait, what I mean by is that, so there's going to be a lot of times in your life where you want to do something. Maybe you have current aspirations. Maybe you just don't like the situation you're in. And, either it's a situation that's out of your control or a situation that could be in your control, but it just takes time. That's what I mean by hurrying up and waiting for the good, waiting for the, the right time to do something. And this could be something as much as high school is just miserable. At least for myself, I was a fucking loser. And I absolutely hated every minute of high school, even though that I did well in high school and I did well in terms of academics. I was kind of a loser. I would spend most of my lunches at the library just sitting on my phone or doing homework in between classes for things that are due further along the week, so I can just go home and play video games or do whatever the hell like a 16-year-old does, right? So that's what I mean, where if you're for example, if you're in high school, you're like myself, where you just fucking hate it. Nobody's nice to you. You're kind of a loner, and you just can't wait to get to the next point. In due time, things will change. That's the nice thing about time, is that as long as time is a factor for you, things can change, for better or for worse. So always remember that. And I always used to hate that kind of topic. I absolutely hated when people told me, man, things will get better. Just hurry up and wait, This insert period here will only last just a little bit. You didn't want to fucking hear that shit. That shit was irritating as hell. At least for me personally. Nothing pissed me off more than someone telling me it's like, oh, it will get better. Just, sit tight and, you'll see. And I'm kind of impatient in that regard where I'm like, fuck, man. Can we just do it now? Can we just have it now? Right now, what I'm experiencing is a little bit of that hurry up and wait situation. And I have quite a long story about how I even got to that point in the first place. And I feel like it would be a interesting story to tell at another time. But to, really just deal with the hurry up and wait situation is, write down everything that you think will be good or bad about your situation, how you can do better, what you can do about it, and kind of just go from there. I have this kind of a mindset, this idea, and I was taught it a while back, and I kind of applied this to a lot of aspects of my life, and I recommend that if you don't have anything similar to this, I recommend trying to, adapt this into your situation. It's the A, B, and C plan. A being the best plan and the most, the thing you're doing at the moment or trying to do, and C being the last option. It's less favorable, but it is an option. And of course, it doesn't have to stop at C. You can have A, B, C all the way to fucking Z. It doesn't matter. But A, B, and C, usually 3 options are usually good enough. If you have to extend it, go ahead. More options are always nicer anyways. Unless you get paralysis by analysis, where, you have so many options you don't really know how to, decide. But that's a completely different thing. What I'm talking about is that if you have like 3 relatively good options that you can pull from, you can, do it, then, go ahead and try to analyze your situation, try to understand what's going on. I think a perfect example of this is like, say you're in school and you're in high school and the pressures of doing applications to go to the college, it's your senior year or junior year. I think you do it in your junior year. I actually completely forgot a little bit. Oh my god. But I think I did it during my junior year, but that's besides the point. You're gonna be, doing applications, applying to schools. You're not really worrying about if you can finance it yet. You're just trying to see if you can just get into a college, right? And, you do all these applications. And, you have a, B, and C. Maybe A is that really nice college that you want to go to. Maybe all your friends are going there. Maybe, if you actually kind of thought a little bit ahead, maybe it's one of those colleges where, it's actually part of a program that you really, really want to do. Maybe it's part of your passion. And if that's the case, power to you. Most people who are 17 or 18 don't know what the hell they're doing. Hell, I've met people who are in their late 20s and they just figured out what they're trying to do. So, but regardless, you got to figure out what you want to do, So maybe your plan A is that school. Maybe it's the school that you want to do. And that's your A plan. Maybe your B plan is like, depending on your circumstances, maybe it's going into the military, or, maybe you have a job lined up for a company. Maybe someone who could, secure you a good job. And your C plan is just completely something else. Maybe your C plan is maybe you have a passion for art. Maybe you have a passion for something else, but you just know that it won't really go anywhere and you have to have it in the back burner. That's your plan C. And the nice thing is I like to envision it as almost like on a lazy Susan, where you can kind of just swivel it around and circle it around, and it's interchangeable. Maybe at some point, this plan do you want to do for plan C, like for example, like maybe it's some kind of true passion thing that maybe won't get you a lot of money, but it's something that you want to pursue at some point anyways. Granted, if you're able to do it. You kind of have it sit. You kind of have it sit in the back, and you just kind of have it in the back of your mind, and just at some point you would like to visit it. But then maybe something happens with your plan A, where your plan A is like, You know, maybe it's something you wanted to do, but maybe it's not something you wanted to do at all. All of a sudden, that plan C actually became a little bit more viable. Here's a nice thing. You can just rotate it over. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. And that's the beauty of this kind of mindset. And I've noticed that when it comes to hurrying up and wait and just trying to figure out how to make that situation better, that kind of helps. And this applies to the second part of this whole, conundrum, is you're feeling stuck. You feel like there's nothing going on. And you feel like nothing's going on for you. Nothing's going for you. It feels like you're stuck. Maybe you're stuck. Maybe you feel like you're stuck at your job that you don't really want to do, but you still have to do it anyways. Or perhaps, maybe it's as simple as you just don't like the school that you're going to, and you just don't really like the program you're doing, but whatever external forces are being applied, where maybe it's your family, or maybe it's just simply, it just makes a lot of money, so therefore you're kind of just grinding it out. Looking at you, engineer majors. You're doing something that you really just don't really want to do, but it makes money, so you're just going through whatever amount of willpower you have, but you just hate it, and you feel stuck. You feel like you're just not going anywhere. And to the people like that, I tell you, the A, B, and C mindset is probably the most important thing you could possibly adapt to your life right now. And I really recommend it. A little bit of perspective here is that if you feel like you're stuck, thinking of alternate options and actually pursuing them can actually make your situation better. Now, I don't want to get a huge philosophical debate, but if you were to ask me, do we have free will or are we destined for things? And I think it's actually both. And what I mean by that is we are all destined based on our personalities, the way our chemistry is made up, the way our brains are, is that we're all destined for something, and we're all going to go towards that avenue no matter what. However, kind of like a game of poker, just because you get 2 and 7 off suit doesn't mean don't have to necessarily fold out. You have the free will of choosing to stay in. Hell, maybe you can completely bluff the fuck out of that game and get something going. You don't know that. You haven't tried. So I say go ahead and try. Every so often, do a little bit of a gamble here and there. And just see what would happen. If it's low risk enough, might as well, right? What's the worst case scenario? You have a little bit of failure and you're set back. Well, that's just another lesson being learned. You can just apply that to the next situation that you're in. It's really as simple as that. And once you kind of have that mindset that you can create your life as a workshop, you'll notice that as long as you actually apply yourself, as cliche as that actually is, you can do a lot of things that you never realized you could do. Oh my god. Getting harassed here, man. Just trying to dig some dirt for my project, man. Anyways. But yeah, if you're feeling stuck, go ahead and, rant about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' comments and thoughts on this whole perspective. Tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I don't care. I'd love to have a little bit of a discussion going. And perhaps in the, in the future, if anyone has any, interesting insight, bring this topic back up and, discuss it a little bit more. That's the nice thing about ideas and, philosophies and ideals is that we can just talk about it and share thoughts. It's how you grow anyways. Anyways, I hope you all guys are having a wonderful day. And this channel is a little bit of kind of like an experiment to see if, something like this is actually, I really want to do, if people actually enjoy listening to it. There's a lot of things going on here as an experiment, and I'm just trying to see if this is actually going to be something that, people would actually want to listen to. So, hope you all are having a great day, and yeah, see you next time.